I never thought I'd own a castle, but life has a way of surprising you, especially when your family pushes you too far. The day my sister Amanda banned me from her wedding, I was standing in the bridal boutique, holding the receipt for her custom-designed Vera Wang dress. $15,000. Just another drop in the ocean of expenses I'd covered to give her the fairy tale wedding she dreamed of since childhood. Sophie, you can't possibly wear that to my wedding, Amanda said, her perfectly manicured fingers gesturing dismissively at my business suit. And that haircut. God, when are you going to start dressing like a normal person? I touched my short pixie cut self-consciously. At 32, I'd long since given up trying to match my sister's definition of normal. While she pursued a career in social media influencing, I'd built a successful investment firm. My clothes were expensive but practical. My haircut was low maintenance but stylish. Not that Amanda would ever notice. The suit is Armani, I said quietly, and I thought we agreed I'd wear navy to complement the bridesmaids. That's not the point. Amanda's voice rose, drawing attention from other customers. You're my sister, but you're embarrassing. Bradley's family is old money. They have expectations. His mother already commented on how different you seem. Bradley Thompson ILI. My sister's fiancé came from one of those families where everyone had Roman numerals after their names in summer homes in the Hamptons. Old money, indeed, though not as much as they pretended to have anymore. Different? I kept my voice level. Years of boardroom negotiations serving me well. I'm paying for your entire wedding, Amanda. $85,000 so far, including the deposit on Riverbrook Castle. Ah, Riverbrook Castle. The exclusive venue an hour outside the city, a restored 19th century estate that hosted only 12 weddings per year. The waiting list was 3 years long, but I pulled strings, called in favors, and secured it for Amanda's perfect day. The deposit alone was $20,000. That's what family does. Amanda waved off my comment. Mom and Dad can't afford it, and I'm their precious baby. You're just doing your duty as the older sister. Our parents. That was another sore spot. Dad's small accounting firm had struggled after the recession, and Mom's interior design business barely broke even. They'd remortgaged their house 3 times to maintain appearances, to give Amanda the lifestyle she demanded. Meanwhile, I'd been quietly paying their bills for years, a fact they conveniently forgot whenever Amanda needed something. Besides, Amanda continued, examining her reflection in the boutique's triple mirrors, it's not like you have anything else to spend your money on. No husband, no kids, just work, work, work. The boutique owner, Mrs. Patterson, shot me a sympathetic look. She'd witnessed similar scenes over the past 6 months of wedding preparations. The alterations are perfect, I said, changing the subject. The dress looks beautiful on you. Of course it does, Amanda preened. Bradley's mother says I look just like Grace Kelly. She's going to introduce me to all the right people after the wedding. I'll be managing their family's charitable foundation. I bit back a comment about the Thompson Family Foundation's questionable accounting practices. My firm had analyzed their books during a potential partnership deal last year. The numbers hadn't added up, but Amanda didn't need to know that. Not yet. Now about the wedding. Amanda's tone turned serious. I've been thinking, maybe it's better if you don't come. The boutique went silent. Mrs. Patterson dropped a pincushion. What? I managed to keep my voice steady, though my hands clenched into fists. It's just, you don't fit, Sophie. You'll stand out in all the photos with your weird hair and man suits. Bradley's mother suggested having just family at the ceremony, and well, Amanda smoothed her dress, avoiding my eyes. You're not really the kind of family we want to showcase. I pay for everything, I said slowly. The dress, the flowers, the castle, the catering, everything. And we're grateful. Amanda's voice took on the wheedling tone she used since childhood to get her way. But think about my future, Sophie. These people are going to be my family. I need to fit in. You can still send a gift, of course. Mrs. Patterson muttered something under her breath that sounded suspiciously like ungrateful brat. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. The designer dress, the diamond earrings I bought her for Christmas, the entitled tilt of her chin. 28 years old and still playing princess while others paid the bills. Fine, I said quietly. Really? Amanda's face lit up. Oh, I knew you'd understand. You always take care of everything. Just send the final payments to the vendors. And no, I cut her off. Fine, I won't come to the wedding, but I'm not paying for it either. Amanda's face went pale beneath her expensive foundation. What? You can't have it both ways, Amanda. Either I'm family or I'm not. If I'm not family enough to attend, I'm not family enough to pay. But the castle, the catering, everything's booked. Better start calling Bradley's mother, I said, gathering my bag. I'm sure the Thompson Family Foundation can cover it. After all, they're your real family now. You can't do this. Amanda's voice rose to a shriek. Daddy, tell her she can't do this. I turned to see our parents rushing into the boutique. They must have been waiting outside. Of course they were. Sophie, be reasonable, Dad started, using his accountant voice. Your sister didn't mean. Yes, she did, I cut him off. And you've enabled it for years. Well, it stops now. But we can't afford. Mom wrung her hands, designer bracelets jangling. More gifts from me. Not my problem anymore. I headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Mom, the mortgage payment you asked me to cover next week. Better start looking for alternatives. I walked out of the boutique to the sound of Amanda's wails and my parents' protests. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. In my car, I pulled out my phone and made 2 calls. The first was to my assistant. Jessica, remember that property acquisition we discussed? The one with the castle? Make it happen. Whatever it takes. The second call was to my bank, canceling all pending payments to wedding vendors. Then I drove to my office in the city, where the real work would begin. Amanda thought she could humiliate me and still benefit from my success. She was about to learn a very expensive lesson about burning bridges. By evening, things were in motion. My investment firm, Stone Financial Partners, had begun the process of acquiring Riverbrook Castle and its surrounding estate. The current owners, an elderly couple looking to retire, had been considering selling for months. My offer, significantly above market value, sealed the deal. As I sat in my corner office overlooking the city, I thought about Amanda's words. No husband, no kids, just work. She'd meant it as an insult, but my work had built something remarkable. Stone Financial Partners managed billions in assets, though I kept that fact quiet. Let people underestimate me. It made moments like this so much sweeter. My phone buzzed. Jessica's text. Contract signed. You own a castle. I smiled, imagining Amanda's face when she learned who her venue's new owner was. But that would come tomorrow. Tonight, I had other calls to make. First, the wedding planner, an elegant woman named Victoria, who confided in me about Amanda's increasingly bridezilla-like behavior. Victoria? It's Sophie Stone. There are going to be some changes to my sister's wedding plans. Then the caterers, the florist, the musicians. One by one, I explained the situation. Most had dealt with Amanda's demands and tantrums. All were happy to keep their deposits and book new clients instead. Finally, close to midnight, I called the castle's events manager, Michael. Miss Stone, I just heard about the ownership change. Congratulations. Thank you, Michael. About tomorrow's meeting with my sister. We planned it perfectly. Amanda would arrive expecting to finalize wedding details with the venue's mysterious new owner. Instead, she'd find me behind the antique desk in the castle's grand office. As I drove home that night, past the gleaming city towers I'd helped finance, I thought about family, about loyalty, about consequences. Tomorrow would change everything. And for once, I wouldn't be the one picking up the pieces of Amanda's shattered expectations. The morning after my confrontation with Amanda at Riverbrook Castle started differently than I expected. Not with angry calls from my family, but with a series of interesting emails. First was a message from Bradley's mother, Margaret Thompson. Miss Stone, I understand you're the new owner of Riverbrook. We should discuss the Thompson family's long-standing relationship with the venue. I smiled, remembering my conversation with Amanda yesterday in the castle's office. She'd arrived expecting to finalize her wedding details, only to find me behind the mahogany desk. Her face had cycled through confusion, shock, and finally, rage. What are you doing here? She demanded. Meeting with the bride about her venue reservation. I'd replied calmly. Please, have a seat. But they said the new owner wanted to meet. Yes. And here I am. The realization had hit her like a physical blow. You bought the castle. Riverbrook Estate, including the castle, grounds, and all business operations. I confirmed, signed the papers yesterday. This is insane. Amanda had paced the office, her designer heels clicking on the hardwood. You can't do this. We have a contract. Had a contract, I corrected. With the previous owners. All agreements are under review by the new management. Standard business practice. I'm your sister. Am I? Because yesterday I wasn't family enough to attend your wedding. Now, staring at Margaret Thompson's email, I thought about what had happened next. Amanda's threats, her tears, her attempts at manipulation. All her usual tactics, useless against the cold reality of business contracts and property rights. The second email was from Bradley himself. Sophie, need to meet urgently. Family financial matter. Please keep confidential. Interesting, very interesting. The third email made me sit up straight. It was from Harrison Pierce, CEO of Pierce Global Investments and Bradley's godfather. Ms. Stone, impressed by your recent acquisition. Lunch this week. Have a proposition to discuss. I leaned back in my office chair, pieces clicking into place. The Thompson family's strained finances. Bradley's urgent message. Harrison Pierce's sudden interest. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. Again. I'd ignored 14 calls since yesterday's confrontation. This time I answered. How could you do this to your sister? She demanded without preamble. Good morning to you too, Ma. Don't be smart with me. Amanda's devastated. She had to tell Bradley's mother the wedding venue isn't Jew party. Do you know how humiliating that was? I thought about all the times Amanda had humiliated me publicly. Yes, I imagine it was very uncomfortable. You have to fix this. Give her back the venue. Like you gave back the house I helped you keep, or the car payments I covered, or the credit card bills. Silence. Then softer. We're family, Sophie. Funny how that only matters when you need something from me. I ended the call and pulled up the Thompson family's financial records. My firm had compiled them during due diligence last year. Old money, yes, but mostly gone now. Bad investments, lavish spending, and a generation of heirs better at spending wealth than maintaining it. A knock at my door, Jessica with my morning coffee. Bradley Thompson is in the lobby, she said. No appointment. Give me 10 minutes, then send him up. I used the time to make 2 quick calls. First to my private investigator. Send me everything you have on Harrison Pierce's recent investments. Then to Michael at Riverbrook. Hold all wedding bookings for the next 6 months. Something's coming. Bradley looked different in my office than he had at family dinners. Less polished. Worried. His custom suit couldn't hide the shadows under his eyes. Sophie, thank you for seeing me, he began, declining my offer of coffee. About Amanda. If this is about the wedding venue, I have nothing to add to yesterday's conversation. It's not. Well, not directly. He ran a hand through his carefully styled hair. I need your help. My family, we're not as financially secure as we appear. I'm aware. He blinked. You are. My firm does thorough research before considering partnerships. Bradley. Last year's review of the Thompson Foundation was enlightening. Then you know we're in trouble. Real trouble. Uncle Harrison has been keeping us afloat, but Harrison Pierce isn't your uncle. Family friend. Godfather. He's like an uncle. Bradley leaned forward. He's been watching you. Your firm. This castle purchase. It got his attention. I'm sure it did. I kept my voice neutral. What exactly do you want, Bradley? A partnership. Your firm's resources, our family's connections. Uncle Harrison would back it. We could? Stop. I held up a hand. Let me be clear. You're here because you need money. Because your family's wealth is mostly smoke and mirrors now. Because Harrison Pierce sees an opportunity. Bradley's face flushed. It's not like that. Your foundation's books are a mess. Your family's real estate is mortgaged to the hilt. And now your fiancé's sister, the one you all look down on, owns the castle you can't afford to rent for your wedding. Sophie, please. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to leave my office. You're going to tell Harrison Pierce that I'm not interested in his proposition. And you're going to explain to Amanda that actions have consequences. Or I start asking public questions about the Thompson Foundation's creative accounting. He left without another word. I gave him 10 minutes, then made another call. Harrison, Sophie Stone. About lunch. I have a counter proposition. The next few weeks were a study in chaos and consequences. Amanda alternated between rage and begging. My parents discovered that their financial safety net had vanished. The Thompson family's carefully maintained facade began to crack. And me? I built something new at Riverbrook. Not just a wedding venue, but a symbol. A reminder that sometimes the quiet ones, the different ones, the ones who don't fit in, were the ones you should watch out for. Some nights, standing in the castle's grand hall, I thought about family, about the price of loyalty and the cost of betrayal, about little girls who dream of fairy tale weddings and women who build their own castles. Amanda eventually had her wedding, a much smaller affair at a local hotel. I didn't attend, but I sent a gift, a framed photo of Riverbrook Castle with a note. Sometimes happily ever after looks different than we expect. The Thompson family's financial troubles became public shortly after, thanks to some anonymous tips to regulatory authorities. Harrison Pierce's proposition. It turned out I didn't need his connections as much as he needed mine. Today, Riverbrook hosts selected events, not just weddings, but charity galas, corporate retreats, and educational programs. We have a scholarship foundation that helps different young women build their own success stories. Amanda still doesn't speak to me. Last I heard, she and Bradley moved to a smaller city where the Thompson name carries less weight. Mom and Dad adjusted to their more modest lifestyle, though they never quite understood how they lost their golden child's fairy tale. As for me, I kept the castle. Some days, walking its halls, I think about that moment in the bridal boutique. You don't fit, Amanda had said. She was right. I didn't fit into her story. I was writing my own. The castle's bell tower chimes, reminding me of another meeting, another decision to make. Through my office window, I can see a young woman arriving for a venue tour. Her hair is cut short like mine, her suit practical but elegant. In her eyes, I see that same quiet determination I once had. Miss Stone. Jessica appears at my door. Your next appointment is here. I smile, straightening my jacket. Time to help another different girl find her own kind of happily ever after. After all, every good story needs a sequel.